Hi everyone, welcome to the monthly astrology snapshot. My name is Paula Shaw and I am going to go through the major astrological themes and transits for this lunar month, which will begin at the new moon in Taurus coming up in a few days on the 19th or 20th of May, depending where you are in the world. Before I go into this month's snapshot, I just want to quickly let you guys know that I have begun a beautiful Patreon community where I'm going through the horoscopes for each of these lunations. So for every new and full moon, there's a horoscope going through how these could be impacting you personally. And I'm also creating bespoke rituals. So, these are moments where you can drop in and really look at what's going on in your inner world in the context of all the information I'm going to share with you in the snapshot. I weave it all together and create these rituals where you can sit with your horoscope and look at where this could be really impacting you in your life and to consciously work with the cycles. I just really see lunar work as a spiritual practice in a way, without having to subscribe to a religion or to one person's worldview. It's a way, it's like a recipe for you to bring it together, weave it together for yourself. So go check out my Patreon community. You'll find the link under this video, in my Instagram, on my website, soulfulguiding.com. It's Soulful Guiding at Patreon. And it starts at only $8 Australian a month. So it's, really affordable, heaps of fun. And I'm also going to explore more and more interesting and esoteric information. So go check it out. So this lunar month. So the theme for this lunar month is, are you prepared for a new era? Honestly, the world has already moved into a completely new paradigm with the introduction of this new technology of ChatGPT and GPT-4. The world has already changed. What it means to be a human has already shifted. And this lunar month is a moment to really drop in and feel into what is going to sustain you personally. What is it that you need to feel about yourself, to connect to deep within, center in, to be able to ride through these times of great chaos, great change, great unrest? It is not going to lighten up. If anything, it's potentially going to intensify more and more as we keep going along, but that doesn't have to be a scary thing. But let's recap last month. Last lunar month was the eclipses and Mercury retrograde, and it was so palpable. I experienced so much personally, and honestly, almost everybody I spoke to went through something. And just to give it a bit of context, this is that was the final South Node release point, lunar eclipse letting go in Scorpio for 19 years. So if you felt so much coming up, like really intense energies, and there's a little bit still going as well because we are in the aftermath of that eclipse, then you're not alone. And I hope you had some space and some support to allow it to come up, to purge out of your system. We've really got to leave the past behind. What happened before 2020, it needs to stay there. We cannot drag those old ways of living, of thinking about Earth, the environment, money, resources. We can't take those old ways where we're going, where we need to go as a species. It cannot come. So at a personal level, if you found these celestial cycles have been markers in time for you, where you've been releasing and purging and purifying and confronting some of your own shadow, or the shadow of others who maybe inflicted some of the pain that created your shadow onto you, don't just keep working with it. Allow it to come up, allow it to go, and don't be surprised, because the way we've all behaved, the way that we valued power, money, resources, it comes from some old paradigms that are not sustainable. And this lunar month has got some massive dynamics playing out. It's going to really force us collectively to look at it. But don't hear this just as the world and the biggest cycle. Think about how this is playing out in your personal world. Astrologically, there is a massive, strong focus on Taurus this lunar month. And this is a really powerful time for you to harness the focus and direct your attention and your energy into your personal life towards these areas associated with the themes of Taurus, such as resources. That includes money, food, all the material objects, all of your material possessions, how you are with these resources. Are you greedy? Do you live in poverty consciousness, feeling like it's never enough and that you'll never feel great until you have an excess of all of these resources? Have you drunk the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and thought that the only way to feel safe and secure is to have excess? I mean, if you watch these videos, you know I'm not anti-surplus. Have more than you need to maybe last you throughout your life. That's beautiful. Anything beyond that is excessive. And the patterns we're moving through, this will continue to be challenged, especially this lunar month. That's going to be highlighted. And Pluto, the planet of power, of transformation, has just turned retrograde, moving on its way to moving back into Capricorn, going over some old territory here, going over some old stories, making sure we totally go in and purify everything to do with Capricorn, the misuse of power over others. Capricorn is the shadow of patriarchy. With Pluto going through, will be challenged. It's not all bad. Capricorn has some beauty to it. Capricorn is connected to the shamans, the wise elders, tradition. But there is a shadow and a light to tradition. Sometimes tradition is just unquestioned, conservative values that have not really been thought through. Some traditions have an essence to them, and maybe as Pluto goes retrograde back over these areas until it really lands permanently in Aquarius, which is at the end of next year, and then goes through this huge Plutonian transformation for all of us to do with all the Aquarian issues such as technology, the collective, the group consciousness, humanity. Maybe what Pluto wants to do is break down the old conservative values that no longer reflect who we truly are as a species and who we are becoming and who we need to become. And maybe we will be left with the pure essence, the true power of the elders, of the wisdom that is in Capricorn, and the most harmonious, loving manifestation of Capricorn, which is the wise counsel of elders, the counsel of the grandmothers, the ones that remember the universal true essence of tradition, what is underneath all the structure and the ego and the story. So, this lunar month with Pluto preparing to dip back into Capricorn, which won't happen until June, be prepared that potentially there will be this intensification on all of these issues. And this is where this big focus on Taurus, the new moon will be in Taurus this lunar month. There is a grand square with a Jupiter North Node activation in Taurus this lunar month. This is saying, how are you truly, as I said before, with your resources? Are you able to sustain yourself through these times of unprecedented change? What are your values? What is it that you value? What are your personal values? This is what will sustain you on an internal level, center you, and keep you on track through these times. Now let's just actually look a little bit at the big grand square in the sky. If you want to dive deeper with these themes, please go and read my snapshot. It's on my website at soulfulguarding.com, or there'll be a link wherever you're watching this, because I really go deeper into these themes. And you can, make a cuppa and just sit down and have a look, have a read, feel into it. And as I said earlier, allow yourself to feel what's being said and see how that relates to you personally. But this massive grand square, which is like a cross in the sky, is pulling in Mars in Leo, Pluto in Aquarius, which was conjunct the North Node, remember, in Taurus, and then the South Node in Scorpio. So this is always a challenging pattern. It's dynamic tension. Mars in Leo is the warrior in the sign of the king, queen, the monarch. And that is sitting opposite Pluto in Aquarius, which is an intense aspect every year. But with this, it's just over a year. But with this one, Pluto in Aquarius, which is about the people, the collective humanity, and Mars in Leo, which is this amplification of people that feel they should be entitled to leadership. This goes for all manifestations of the shadow of the rulers, the leaders, anyone in a powerful leader position sitting in an opposition to the people. Pluto. This is potentially could be a big problem in the field. This is active now as I'm filming this, and pretty much all of this lunar month. It's like, it's not all just on the date, like it's an activation point potentially, which could ripple into the rest of this year, really, in essence. And then that is in a square to the nodes. And the nodes are about our collective past and our future, our destiny, our collective karma, and our patterns and where we're going. We just had the lunar eclipse with the South Node in Scorpio, releasing the past, releasing the shadow, releasing the old unconscious ways of misusing our life force, our power, our desires, our greed, our passion. So this, when I was writing the forecast for this year, I looked at May and I didn't know what to write about it, so I didn't really go into it because of this particular grand square that I'm talking about. I wasn't sure how it would manifest, but it feels like it's this uncomfortable, tense, turning pivot point. This is happening really active just after the new moon in Taurus. So you really want to make sure you're tuning in at this new moon. And I will do a separate video to go deeper into that so that you can get into the energy in a few days. But this new moon is your moment to come back to what will sustain you through chaos. While this big collective grand square in the sky is in its tense, dynamic activation point, what is it that's going to keep you grounded, keep you centered, and actually help you to stay strong on a material level and secure through these times? Seed that in at the new moon. Feel into it. Open your mind to what it is that will lead you towards more financial stability. Get clear on what that looks like for you. Maybe you've actually already got enough, but you bought into these old pre-2020 stories and notions about success and wealth. It's just greed. Look it in the eye. Get really clear at the new moon. And this will help you have some fortitude and strength and a sense of stability while these bigger dynamics are at play. There could be big challenges of leaders trying to take power from the masses. Could be. Well, I think we're seeing that that's actually already happening. But the cool thing that's going on is Jupiter moving into Taurus conjunct the North Node. Typically in astrology, Jupiter is a very positive planet, the bestower of benevolence, of good fortune. The shadow to Pluto is inflation. Pluto is the big gas giant that expands everything symbolically. So with Jupiter moving into Taurus, whilst this big grand cross is playing out, and the new moon happening in Taurus, which is your moment to really boost your own material sense of reality, this could be a time when the guru, the benevolent bringer of bestower of gifts, could come in with the North Nodes. Come on, humans. Move it this way with Taurus themes. Again, resources, food, finances. Just so you know, Jupiter will be in Taurus until May of 2024. So this is a seeding in cycle with Jupiter bringing some blessings and expansion into Taurus for us all at the collective level. So the shadow, though, of Jupiter in Taurus is inflation, finances. So it could be that inflation doesn't really stabilize over the next year, which is why, again, how can you navigate this time? What do you need? Who is your community? What will sustain you? Are you growing food? Are you budgeting? Are you letting go of buying excessive items that you don't need? If you can see that in at this new moon in Taurus, you'll activate and access the more positive manifestation of Jupiter. Okay, so it's really your moment to come in and harness this at a personal level. And yeah, so then this piece with Pluto moving back into Capricorn, like I said before, this could be really uncomfortable at the collective level. This could be a time where the shadow of everything must be reviewed, dislodged, revealed to us. As I always say, Pluto only wants to give back power. So whatever Pluto is going to unearth at the collective level in the shadow of all of these misuses of power over time, stay with it. Don't let it bring you down. Trust in these cycles. I have honestly I've been really looking at these bigger cycles more intensively in the last 4 or 5 years. My early stage with astrology was more looking at people at a personal level, but then it was 2017, 18 and 19 I started to go, just had this feeling something big was going to happen, and had some really crazy experiences which I was told at a very deep level to look at and study the greatest cycles more and more. And studying that has helped me prepare or be more grounded through these times, and to learn to trust in the wisdom of the cycles, and that it is cyclical. It doesn't always stay the same, which is why we know we cannot stay in this progress, produce inflation of profit forever. It's unsustainable. Maybe Jupiter moving through Taurus North Node and all that I just explained is saying, hey, you need to reassess what this means, humanity. And this Pluto coming back into Capricorn is potentially going to force Capricorn structures such as governments, corporations, the big banks, any big power structure to actually stop and have a look. So I'm very curious to see how Pluto retrograding back to Capricorn and Jupiter conjunct North Node activation, but moving through Taurus for a year. Very curious to see how this plays out for us all at the collective level. Okay, and then on the 3rd, 4th of June, there will be a full moon in Sagittarius. Thank goodness. So Sagittarius generally is more fun. And why it's fun is because Sagittarius signifies the quest for greater meaning, the adventure that life can actually be. And Jupiter is involved again. Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon. And as I've spoken about so much, Jupiter is in Taurus, activating with the North Node at this full moon. So Jupiter's so strong this lunar month. If you can get out and have a look, see where Jupiter is. So in the sky, have a look, connect with the visible stars, planets. So Sagittarius rules over philosophy, over the meaning, the greater meaning of life, faith. It's, all about what do you really believe? What is the greater story? What is the greater purpose to all of it? It is a beautiful time to open your mind, get out of your mental comfort zones so that you can be available to new perspectives. Challenge your existing beliefs. Discover the magic that lies beyond your squares and your conservative traditional ways and your fears. This full moon is a moment to work with letting go, with releasing the blocks and the obstacles to whatever you're tuning into at the new moon, whatever you're wanting to seed in that is focused on sustaining you. As I keep saying, while Uranus is in Taurus, we are being asked to find what is unique about you as a way of sustaining yourself. With this massive introduction of AI coming through these, new technologies, we need to think about what it is that makes you a human. If you haven't already, go and play with ChatGPT. Check it out because it is extraordinary. And very soon we're all going to have access to this knowledge. It will be normal. And it will be a lot of data and a lot of, information, data points. However, what ChatGPT cannot do is bring all of those data points together in unique ways unless prompted, but that requires a human. That requires a unique human way of being with this information. ChatGPT cannot yet pretend to be me, as in filming this video, making mistakes, which I'm always making. It cannot be a human in this way yet. I'm not saying you've all got to go and create videos, but start thinking about what it is that is unique about you. Where do different things come together? Who are the humans in your life that you bring love and value and connection to? But start feeling into what it is that's unique about you, and that will be the way that you can show up in the coming years. This will sustain you right now. So yeah, really open your mind. Don't be scared of technology. Don't be scared of the new ways that are coming in. Get out of your comfort zone. Expand beyond it. Engage with it. Don't resist it, because it is in that resistance that, in a way, we feed the shadow. We feed the potential by leaving it in the hands of those that aren't necessarily caring about humanity. But like I said, Pluto going into Aquarius, which I'm going to still do this video, tried to do it during Mercury retrograde and it did not work. But really, Pluto moving into Aquarius over the next 20 years is potentially going to force us to work with this technology in ways that truly benefits humanity. It's definitely going to be a part of the story. How much of the story? No one knows for sure. But if you engage with it, get out of your fears, stop resisting it, then you can co-create this with with this technology, you can be a part of it. So take a moment, at the full moon to just let go of your old limiting beliefs, to give space for your new moon intentions, give them clear passage into the world. Okay, so this is like, to me, a lunar month to prepare ourselves to keep centering back in, but at the same time increasing our capacity for change, to expand out beyond what we thought was possible, to let go of what we thought life was going to be as we were moving towards 2020. I certainly had very different ideas about what this part of my life would look like pre-2020 to what I think it's actually going to look like. And because I study the cycles, I can open to it. I'm definitely not always excited. Sometimes I'm a bit worried and concerned, absolutely, but I'm open because the reality is it's happening. We can't take the old world with us. We cannot. We've gone too far. We've gone past the point of turning back. With ChatGPT coming in and the new technologies, the new AI, it's already changed. We've just now got to adjust, prepare, and journey with this consciously. So I hope this helps you. I will do another video for the new moon coming up in Taurus, like more specific, so you can get in and feel into it. But yeah, like I said, if you want to journey with all of these themes woven together in bespoke ritual and horoscopes, please join my Patreon. But otherwise, just sit with it. Sit with the themes. Each lunation is a moment to go in, to get in touch, to decide how you want to feel. And over time, you build new habits, new ways of thinking, and that is what shaped your destiny. So take care out there, everybody, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you all next month.